Do I have the blueprint for 2023? We're about to find out.
I ain't gonna give in now. I think gonna live this now. I'm gonna be man, I'ma kill this stuff real quick. I'ma go take it to town, cause I gotta be that king in their ring when I'm knocking them out when I'm back with the whip. Cause I am just up on the journey. You just know that I'm just going insane.
Warriors, rise. Grand Rising Warriors. The blueprint for 2023. Problem, reaction, solution. So I'm going to break down the facts, figures, numbers, logic, and show you where they're taking us in 2023. This is nothing new under the sun. This has happened in history over and over again. My name is Coach JB. I am the top health, mindset, crypto, and business coach in the world. Remember, what you believe in your heart, you think in your mind, will eventually become your words and become your reality. If you can see it in your mind, eventually you can hold it right here in your hands. What you repeatedly do gets ingrained here in your subconscious mind. What gets ingrained in your subconscious mind becomes an unconscious activity. Now, we're going to dive into this, Warriors. Now, if you have not joined the Warrior Academy, go to www.3twarrioracademy.com. Access to my portfolio, exit strategy, subconscious mind programming, goal setting, vision board creation, 7 calls per week, tons of human connection. We are rising together. Peace, love, and prosperity. So join www.3twarrioracademy.com. Okay, so we're going to dive into this. I'm going to put this guy's channel. He is crushing it with the content. This is a documentary on Larry Fink. I'm just going to show the first part of the documentary, and I'm going to link his YouTube channel down below. Very, very powerful. You have to understand who the players are in the game. Larry Fink and Jamie Dimon run the financial system. Hands down. They run the financial system, okay? Whoever controls the money, controls the information, controls the people. So we're going to watch the first part of this documentary, a very short part, and then we're going to dive into the blueprint for 2023.
It was a year before the Black Monday crash. Wall Street darling Larry Fink suffered $100 million trading loss.
I was so angry at myself. I was just mortified at myself.
Humiliated, Fink now is forced to leave the company. But upon his failure, he will build the mightiest company in the world, BlackRock.
Let's pause it for just a moment. Upon $100 million failure, he built this appetite for never failing again. 32 years later, BlackRock becomes the largest and biggest asset manager in the world. That is very important to imprint this into your mind. So as we dive into this, we're going to go into different facts, figures, numbers, logic. So here we are in 2022. Our lives have changed pretty dramatically, right? So we now have high interest rates, high inflation. People's job market is changing pretty dramatically. And let's walk through the narrative for 2023. Okay, so this was back in 2020. This is President Biden talking about food shortages. Just pay attention. I'm not saying left, right, up, or down. Just pay attention.
We don't have a food shortage problem. We have a leadership problem. Let
me play that one more time. Listen.
We don't have a food shortage problem. We have a leadership problem. We have plenty of food. It's being plowed under. You're euthanizing cattle and pigs. They're out there making sure that they're pouring thousands of gallons of milk under the ground. It's not a food shortage, it's a lack of leadership.
Okay, so we don't have a food shortage problem. We have a leadership problem, 2020. Okay, remember that. So let's go to 2022. So remember, we don't have a food shortage problem. We have a leadership problem. So let's dive into this now, okay? So remember what he said? Let's dive into this.
With regard to food shortage, yes, we did talk about food shortages. And it's going to be real. The price of these sanctions is not just imposed upon Russia. It's imposed upon an awful lot of countries as well, including European countries and our country as well. And because both Russia and Ukraine have been the breadbasket of Europe in terms of wheat, for example, just give one example. But we had a long discussion in the G7 with with both the United States, which has is a significant, the third largest producer of wheat in the world, as well as Canada, which is also a major producer. And we both talked about how we could increase and disseminate more rapidly food shortages. And in addition to that, we talked about urging all the European countries.
Okay, so let's listen again.
With regard to food shortages, yes, we did talk about food shortages, and it's going to be real.
So we didn't have a food shortage problem; we had a leadership problem, but now we have a food shortage problem. Okay, so let's dive into the facts, figures, numbers, logic. Okay, so now we know Larry Fink is one of the most powerful asset managers in the world. This is not up, down, left, right, against, but we need to understand the game. The World Economic Forum was created in 1971, bringing the most powerful leaders together from all over the world. I'm going to keep pointing out the same things until it gets ingrained in your subconscious mind. On August 22nd, 2019, right before one of the biggest pandemics we ever had in our living history globally, Larry Fink, one of the most powerful asset managers in the world, who controls the U.S. economy, in my opinion, Jamie Dimon and him control the U.S. economy, and globally, okay, the Feds tapped BlackRock to balance out the markets twice now, okay? Larry Fink got appointed to the board of trustees, who serves as a guardian of the World Economic Forum mission and values, okay? This is the World Economic Forum, food security, the state of global food security, and what could come next year. Pay attention right here. Look at the connections. McKinsey and Company. This was published by them, okay? Remember, put that in your thinking tank. C-word, geopolitical climate events are impacting the global food system resilience. McKinsey shares its perspective on the 4 dimensions of the unfolding, constantly changing crisis. What has happened, what is likely to come next, who is most affected, and what may be done. The consulting firm predicts next year might be harder, but swift mitigations could help avoid the worst outcomes. You can go read through this whole article. The key is to understand McKinsey and Company. Larry Fink is the board of trustees for the World Economic Forum. Larry Fink is the most powerful asset manager in the world. Larry Fink was tapped to balance out the tapped by the Federal Reserve to balance out the markets. Okay, remember the name, right? McKinsey and Company. Supporting inclusion and sustainable economic recovery. BlackRock co-funds global coalition with McKinsey and Company, Microsoft, Verizon to help more people access jobs in the wake of the pandemic. It's all interconnected, warriors. The richest people in the world get together in Davos every single year. Lock, step. They're telling us exactly where we're going. Okay. We're now heading into food shortages. Okay. This is not a fear tactic. This is just part of the process. This is what they're doing. There's going to be food shortages, right? We had Russia and Ukraine, some of the biggest wheat producers. Okay. Then there's a food shortage narratives. There's a climate change narrative. And now you're going to see tons of stuff around hurricanes, climate change. The world's food supply is made insecure by climate change. Sugar and salt shortages worsen in Philippines. Food supply woes. Country also purchases corn and wheat from overseas. War in Ukraine has created a fertilizer crunch. The global food crisis won't get solved until it's fixed. Okay. Tanzania protest against poverty and high prices of food shortages. Ian strengthens into hurricane. So now you're going to see hurricanes. So Ian, the hurricane, strengthens into Florida, and Cuba braces for possible floods. And then yesterday, the British pound comes plummeting down into the end of the Shemitah. So I'm just sharing with you guys stuff that you can look up. Okay. This is all stuff that we can all look up. We can all take a deep dive on this type of stuff. These are not fear taxes. This is nothing new under the sun. This has happened in human history over and over and over again. Now, remember, Larry Fink took a big fall, and he has a satiable appetite for power and success. Okay. Now, I'm not saying anybody's doing anything wrong. What I'm saying is they're showing us the blueprint. 2019, they did a pandemic preparedness at the World Economic Forum, and then we ended up in a global pandemic. Maybe they were getting ready. Maybe they were just getting ready, and it happened to be coincidence. I don't know. Again, I'm not left, I'm not right, I'm not up, I'm not down, I'm not picking sides. I accept everybody. What I'm here to do is spread information and allow you to understand that this is a time for you and your family to build generational wealth. You can invest in these future technologies. You can get involved in the infrastructure of a new world that's coming, Web 2.0 to Web 3.0, where you're not going to stop it. You are not going to stop it. Unfortunately, you're not going to. The only way is doing things like people call Kanye West crazy. Kanye West is calling the shots. He just created a new schooling system, a private schooling system. The dude just detached from Gap and is going to build his own system. And I guarantee, he said he's going to be #1 above Apple. I guarantee he's right. He's a manifestation machine. And I guarantee the companies that I'm running will be billion-dollar companies. Remember, what you believe in your heart, you think in your mind, will eventually become your words and become your reality. If you can see it in your mind, eventually you can hold it right here in your hands. What you repeatedly do gets ingrained in your subconscious mind. What gets ingrained in your subconscious mind becomes an unconscious activity. And if you really break down what I just said, what would you do if you're one of the wealthiest people in the world and you wanted to move people a certain direction? You would ingrain things into their subconscious mind, getting them to do unconscious behaviors that are in alignment with what you want or what you want to move the world to. It's not good or bad. It's not up or down. It's not left or right, but knowing that you have the decision. You have a choice. I love you guys. I appreciate you. As we always say, Warriors, rise. Make sure you click the description down below to check out that dude's documentary. It's fire.